Good morning. Today's project on the 72 C20 Suburban is replacing the rear coil springs. If you looked at previous videos, I replaced the front coil springs. Makes it drive a lot better. But the old springs obviously were aftermarket because it was higher. Now it's factory height here, but the back rides way too high. And so we're going to be putting in these new coil springs. And then while I'm there sort of thing, I'm going to put in these new spring retainers just because they're cheap and you got to take them off anyway. Also, Panhard bar bushings, I got to take that off. So might as well put new bushings in there. Now, with these videos, keep in mind this. These are not instructional how to do videos, unless it's something pretty obvious that I'm telling you how to do. I'm just showing you how I do it. That doesn't mean it's the right way or the best way or the fastest or whatever. Just kind of documenting this for people that are interested in this and that may need a little help along the way. That's all. Okay. All right, got my Panhard bar out. That's what connects the rear end to the chassis. And I have to take this off anyway, and so I'm replacing these bushings, which have probably been in here since 1972. You can see this is kind of sloppy right here. Not good. 5/16 bolts, 5/16 head, I should say. Why they don't make it 7/8 or 1 inch, I don't frickin' know. But anyway, with some persuasion, got these out. Okay, here's the Panhard bar. I pressed the little sleeves. I mean, I just beat it out with a hammer. Got the sleeve out. Now I got to get the bushing out. You know, these rubber cracked bushings. That'll come out pretty easy. This side, however, look what I found. That's not a bushing shredded. You tell what that is? It's duct tape. It's duct tape. So somebody took the sleeve. This was loose apparently. So they unbolted it, took this sleeve out, wrapped the hell out of it with duct tape until it would shove in there, and then reinstalled it. You gotta love it. Okay, we're completely disassembled here on the driver's side. New and old springs. The ones on the left are the factory, actually they're heavy duty, but they're the ones they put on the 3/4 ton, the C20. So whomever put these springs in, not sure why, but anyway, there they are. Getting them out was a pain, but not awful. The biggest thing was, okay, so this is the lower perch and the lower retainer. And what they did from the factory, they take this square bolt and weld it on there. Of course, that weld breaks immediately because it's so tight and these bolts are all rusted. Coil, you know, my new favorite product, worked a bit, but this definitely was the hardest one to break loose. And then the top was kind of a pain because of how tucked up in here it is. So there's the lower one. The bolt, you know, goes clear up through that beam. And then the upper one, I won't get up under there, but is in that channel of the upper, or that frame rail right there. And it's a little bit of a hassle to get a wrench up in there on the nut and then screw it in. The next hardest part that I foresee though when I install these is this. So to get, you know, it looks like this. Let's just put it together for you. This is what this looked like. And then you got a nut or a bolt. Goes the other way, but you get the idea. The problem here is you got to get a wrench up in that coil to get a hold of that thing. I was able to do it with certain spacers and things like that, but the new spring look at much tighter coils. So, you know, I'm not sure, you know, if I'll be able to maybe get a wrench in there like that. That's gonna be a pain, but I'll have to think about that and ponder that for a bit. But anyway, so yeah, I had removed the Panhard track bar, and my brake lines are fine. There was enough clearance that when this dropped down, it didn't pull on the brake lines, which is good. Disconnected the lower shock on both sides. But I did discover something on the track bar, that the bushings I ordered were too small. These went right in the track bar and wiggled around, wrong size. And so apparently there's two different sizes. And lo and behold, I'll just show you because it's outside. I'm painting it here. So I guess the factory used two different sizes here, and everyone seems to be selling that smaller size. The bigger size, like 48 bucks each for each end. So it's gonna cost me about 100 bucks for that track bar, just the bushings. I'm like, I think I can buy a whole track bar for like 75. But it turns out only the ones that are shortened for lowering and all of that. I'm not lowering this truck, I need it the factory length. So pain in the ass on a Saturday. None of those bushings are local. So I'm gonna have to have them shipped in, which means I can't drive the truck. But what I'm gonna do is just assemble it all, put the springs all back in. I'll put the track bar back in with those smaller bushings, just enough to hold the rear end so I'm safe enough to pull it out of my shop and out of the way, because I need that spot in the shop come Monday. So, you know, not ideal, but I can pull it out of the shop and park it off to the side till the new Panhard bushings get in, and then I can install them easily enough. So that's what happens. So the bolts that come out of the truck, out of this beam right here, you know, they're nasty. I mean, look at, not just rusted, but there's just corrosion and mud and stuff like that down in the hole. And, you know, down in here. And I don't want to be installing brand new bolts through that stuff. The great thing about owning a detail shop is I can take care of this stuff quickly. Get some degreaser down in there. Vapor steam to the rescue. Look at all that shit that came out of there. I love it. Clean is my thing, so getting this stuff clean like this, much better install. So I think I've discovered another problem in buying parts that don't fit. You know, these are all supposed to be the same, whatever. Well, they ain't. And here's what I've found. I'm not liking the way the retainer, the new retainer, hangs onto this spring. I mean, it's got a lot of contact right here, but over here, it doesn't. And so out here, I'm gonna just show you. This goes in here like this, and it's supposed to sit in there like that. But see, to get it to fit properly, look at all over here. It doesn't fit in there snug the way it's supposed to. And the old one they're exactly the same size. I want to make sure it's not left and right. No, there's not. So they're the same size. However, on the old springs, they fit perfectly. Contacts right there. Actually, it's not like that. It's up under here. But you get the idea. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, that is quite a bit. But I'm looking at the other side. If I look at the other side that I haven't uninstalled yet. I'm looking at this. Yeah, see? It looks like it goes all the way around and it makes contact all the way around. Well, I'll try again. Let me get a light on this thing and see if I can make this more clear. Because I got a decision to make here. See, that to me looks like it's sitting on there the way it should. All the way around, tight. The side I just put on, to me, doesn't look like the right size. Yeah, see how it's not flat? It's a little bit. So I think I'll mess with it a little bit more. You know, I'll take the tension off with the jack. It's kind of hard because I'm here by myself, and see if I can move that spring around and that retainer. Otherwise, I guess I start looking to see if they make different size retainers. When I bought these, I saw no variance whatsoever from anybody. So thought they were generic. Now these springs take special retainers. I'm gonna go back to where I bought the springs from and see. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, after messing with this lower rear spring retainer for quite a while and confirming with Moog, who I bought the springs, they're Moog springs, they insist that that retainer is the right one. And so I did have to shift. I just didn't have the coil spring shifted the right way on the bottom. They don't center as well as they should. But anyway, I got that in there. It's seated on there the way I want and the way they say it's supposed to. Up here, they say the contact is all right there, and that's fine, that it looks like it's coming off over here. See, that to me that doesn't look right, but I have confirmed 2 different sources that that is fine. So anyway, coil spring in on one side. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get on my back here. I just can't get to it. And that is killing me. Boy, access is just... Just to touch it with my fingertips. Oh, I got it. Now the problem will be leverage. You know, from here I'm not very strong. Let me see. Okay. Gonna break a knuckle off here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh. Is that coil? The spraying coil 3 days ago helped me. Oh, yeah. Oh. And that's the rust at the top of the bolt is now engaging with the nut. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh. There we go. Let's see if I can drop this coil spring right on my teeth. Okay. And I know there's like minimal tension on this spring because I have the jack on it, so it's not going to come flying out of here. I tested that first. Okay. There we go. That looks like one tired, worn out spring. Remember the other video when I said 52 years old? Not quite as spry as I was when I was 17. That's what I mean. When I was 17, I would have been under there like lickety split, no problem. So now I'll just clean everything up. See that bolt still sticking up out of there? I'll get that out of there, clean everything up, and then we'll install. And for those of you that love to see things being cleaned, here you go. That bolt hole, degreaser, vapor steam cleaner. You know, I do own a detail shop. Right in there on that hole. Look at that. Oh. I'm gonna go back up on this side. Hit it again with more degreaser. Right, cleaned out. Okay, so it's interesting to me that there is a proper way to align these. First off, the directions say the tighter coils to the top. So this is the top, that's the bottom. The other thing that's interesting is it says this top coil right here, that needs to be parallel with the axle. So obviously that's how I installed the other side, but that was kind of interesting. So, you know, when you put it in, well, it goes from the bottom side up. So in other words, this goes in here, and that's the retainer right there, hangs onto it. But yeah, to make sure that this is parallel, I don't know why that is. Obviously there's a reason. I mean, these things can orient anyway. So it could sit in there and the whole spring could twist. And the same for the bottom. So not sure why, but doesn't matter really why. The directions say to do it, so that's how they're gonna go in. Just making sure I'm safe. I got supports. One of you could come help me run the jack. Okay. Okay, and then now this is where one of you could help me lift the jack up, because this needs to come up to just touch it. I don't need it to compress it. And that's kind of a pain when you're just by yourself and where I'm at on the jack, I can't see this. So, just eyeball it. Okay, tell me when. How's that? How's that? Okay. So it's touching, but there's some slop there. This goes in there like that. Goes up in there. Nut and lock washer on the top. That's what's going on here. You know, there's also the trick, I don't know if I can do it, but if you guys have ever done this, you know, my end wrench is up in the channel right now, just laying there, because I'm going to have to stick it on there. The trick of taking the nut and like taping it on, let's say this is your nut, tape it on so it's at least like that, and then now I can reach the nut in where it needs to be, and then when I take my bolt and stick it up through there, sometimes you can get it just right and start to thread it and then at least get it on. The problem with that, obviously, last resort pain in the ass, and I gotta have a washer too. So, you know, you can tape the nut from the top, but I gotta get a washer, a lock washer in there too. I don't think that method's gonna work. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Can I get it? Okay, I'm turning it to see if I can get it to catch. Oh, did I get it? I think I got it. I did. Oh my God. My shoulders are gonna frickin' kill me tonight, and I know my hands and arms will be bruised up. Okay. So now just to get the end wrench, you know, my end wrench on it so I can use the ratchet. Come Am I pronouncing that right? Moog? M-O-O-G? Okay, that's snug. I'll torque it later. And then now for the bottom. All right, it's seated how I want it. Now I just got to torque it. The spring is in there. Excellent. Excellent. See that in there, right up there. So after a week, I finally get the bushings in for my track bar. Had to order these. That's a whole ordeal because most places want 50 bucks each for these, but I found them for like 15 by just looking around, but I had to have them shipped to me. Anyway, these are the right size. What I need to do now is press these in. By press, that means probably beat the hell out of with a big hammer. So these are replacing my old ones. This is what they look like from the factory. You notice they were just rubber on the outside. Well, apparently the rubber wore out too fast, so Chevrolet changed to this style, which is steel on the outside and then rubber in the middle, just that little bit. The difference being now I got to press this in. And then remember, the bushing on the other end was duct taped, was providing the cushion. So obviously replacing that. This is the bushing that was sent to me originally and that is listed almost every website in the world that fits, and it does not. It is a smaller diameter. It's made for the C10 half tons. Mine is a 3/4 ton, and also this went on some Corvettes. But for whatever reason, they've listed them wrong. And so this is for the C10, but not all C10s. Some of the C10s that have, if it was a stick shift or maybe 4-wheel drive, I'm not sure. But if it's a stick shift, I know they took this kind. So people still need these. But yeah, some people are gouging at 50 bucks a piece. So now my plan is to put those on there, get a big hammer, beat them in, see what I can do without breaking something. Okay, so I very quickly realized that hammering these in wasn't gonna work. Didn't even wanna try after a couple of taps. So I took it down to the machine shop next door and they pressed this in super easy. This side, however, did not go in so easy. It went about that far before it started ballooning out this end. And so we stopped because I didn't want to do any damage. See, that won't go in. I think it'll be okay on one side when I go to install it. The one end I know won't. I need all the clearance side to side. So anyway, we'll try it. If it doesn't work, I got to press that out, clean that inner race better. Obviously something was wrong there, and order a new bushing because that one will be toast. So anyway, we'll see. I'll try to install it now. That's where I'm at, out in the parking lot, trying to finish this project up. Okay, so I got lucky, and that bushing, that end fit in just fine. I mean, just like butter, perfectly at that end down there. And then see, now this end will go up in here. And now I see I gotta unbolt the other end and put this in first because that's gotta go there, but easy enough. That fit in, this will be awesome. Put my new bolts in and I can drive this thing. Okay, got the track bar all in, installed, new bushings. So this project is done. The whole coil springs and track bar bushings. This thing's back to drivable. And I can already tell a difference just going like this. Just grabbing the truck and side to side moving it. Much more stable. You know, before you could just see the body moving against the tire and the wheel. You know, now it's a lot tighter. So, step in the right direction here for getting this thing towing on the road.